Hey guys, welcome back to another Weird Wednesday. I'm Ashers, and this is
Pat O.
Pat. Oh, I'm miserable.
I'm sorry, baby. I can.
It's
I've
all your
never
fault.
heard you like this before.
I've been sick a time or two on the show, but that just means that I am clearly a fucking trooper. And there's a cure for this. There's a cure for what ails me. Do you want to know what it is?
Tell me what it is. What do you need?
If every single person that listened to this show gave me $5, and then I would feel better. I'd be
Me
over
too.
this. It's only
Yeah.
$5. It's like the
Where
price of a coffee.
where do they send it to? What's your Venmo or Cash App handle?
Well, I got a bunch of them. Yeah, just check my link tree. They're all in there.
Okay, there you go.
Subscribe to the Patreon.
No, that's too much of a commitment because then it's a reoccurring charge. This is
That's true.
different. This is a one-time gift.
One-time
This
gift
is
for my
a
pain and
this
suffering.
is a one-time fee. And here's the thing: if you use Venmo to Venmo poor dear sick Ashers, and this is not fake sick. This is not helping her fight her tax evasion lawsuit like it was last time. This is legitimately she's sick. If you Venmo her $5 or greater, you can say whatever filthy fucking thing you want to in the memo.
Oh
How
my
about that?
god.
How about that? Whatever you want to say.
I'll accept that. Judgment free.
This is your chance. This is your chance. It's almost like it's like kind of like that anonymous thing that's going around like anonymous questions or anonymous statements that you can make to people on Instagram. This is
Yeah.
even better because
But it's
it
not
comes
anonymous.
right. But still, you could drop her $5, say whatever the fuck you want to say, and then move on and know that she took the $5. I mean, I guess if it's really repugnant, you could reject the transaction, but let's face it, you probably won't. I'm sorry, I probably just hijacked this whole thing. Although, who knows? Maybe you might get more of a response now. We'll see.
Nobody's gonna send me any money.
Oh, I bet they will, just to fucking tell you what's on their mind.
Do it.
I don't know if they have
Send me money. No,
Ashers, I don't know if they have the balls to do it. Do you think they got the balls to do it?
Oh no, they don't have the balls to do it. That's the problem. Yeah, they're too afraid, and
I think they're afraid too.
yeah, I mean, especially at the risk of identifying themselves. Absolutely not. Um,
Yeah, because they
no,
don't know.
this is tip money. I deserve a tip. God damn it! I shouldn't be recording this week. I should have just canceled the show. But I don't do that. I'm not a
Right.
quitter. Okay, I've never quit anything in my life. I started doing cocaine at 14, and I still do cocaine at 31.
Jesus. Good for you. That's right.
I'm on a bunch of cough syrup, so this will be interesting. Um, I'm hilarious when I don't feel good. Anyway, Pato, how the fuck was your weekend?
my weekend was good. It was a 48-hour film weekend. So I got to be a filmmaker again, which is something that happens less and less the older and older that I get. And I do the 48-hour thing every year. If you haven't heard me talk about it on the show before, how it works is that it's a worldwide event that happens at different weekends in different parts of the planet. But this weekend was in Chicago, and a bunch of teams got together. About 50 teams got together Friday night. We were all given individual genres and at random, and then we were given a character, a prop, and a line of dialogue that we had to incorporate in the 7-minute film that we had to write, direct, and edit between the hours of 7:30 on Friday and 7:30 on Sunday. So that's what we did, and we came up with something truly spectacular. Recipe for Oblivion. It was kind of a it's in the pedo aesthetic, which is what I've learned to call it by now. It's just everything that I do just kind of turns out looking a certain way. And I'm totally cool with that. I started making movies in high school, and they kind of had a certain vibe to them, and I just, am 41 years old and have never lost that vibe. It still looks like something someone in high school made, which I'm cool with. Because I've tried to do other stuff, and I don't like it as much. And I really liked what we came up with this year. It was a lot of fun.
It was genuinely hilarious.
Thank you. Thank you.
I saw it. I watched it. Yeah,
Of
yeah.
course you saw. Of course I'm going to show it to you.
I rather enjoyed it. I thought it was genuinely hilarious. But I think it's because, like a lot of the jokes that I get, I'm in on, and I think that, yeah, and some of it's just kind of my humor anyway. Are people going to be able to watch this? Are other people? Can the fans watch it somewhere?
Yeah, so right now, so here's the problem is that you only have 48 hours to do everything, right? Which that's the point. So what you saw was the 48-hour version. Now, whenever we do these, if we, sometimes we do these and we really like the movies, and when that happens, we'll do a second cut where we'll spend another week really making it because I mean, I'm sure you noticed there was a couple things in it that were like kind of off that were
Sure.
just things that need to be fixed in editing. So, yes, the goal is by this upcoming Friday, October 1st, we're going to have a non 48-hour cut, which will be a little bit cleaner. And it won't have all the 48-hour like bumper thing before it and all that shit. And that is the one that will go to film festivals all over the place. And that'll be the one that'll be on YouTube and everyone can watch it and blah, blah, blah. What you saw was the super secret, friends only 48-hour film cut. That's the one that they'll be. So that will be screening in Chicago. I think next Wednesday, October 12th, in Hyde Park at some theater. Which tickets are $25. I don't expect anyone to fucking go to it. I might not even go. But that is that version. But we're gonna do we're gonna spend a little bit more time kind of cleaning it up better. And that version that'll be in film festivals all over the place. And I'll keep everyone informed. There's a Blue Island Film Festival that's like the first weekend in November that I think we're going to get into. And that I will definitely pimp the shit out of because I'm sure that's going to be like in Blue Island for $5. So all of the Chicagoland listeners, please come to that. The 48-hour one, which is, like I said, next week in Hyde Park for $25 a ticket. Dude, buy merch with that. Take that $25. Don't spend 25. Text me. I'll send you a link to it. You can watch it for free. I don't want anyone spending $25 to watch this piece of shit. But yeah. So it'll definitely make the rounds eventually. But right now we're still kind of.
So I mean,
Yeah.
so you submit it to the 48-hour film festival, and then what? It gets picked up by other festivals from there. I don't know how that works.
No. So no. So that what you saw is just for the 48-hour, right?
Okay.
So because it has to be, you have to be done with editing within the 48-hour. There's rules. It has to be uploaded by a certain time. Yada yada yada. So
Sure.
that is that iteration of the film. It exists in that form for the 48-hour film festival. Now I can take that movie and I can spend longer working on it. I could add more to it, whatever, and then that I can do whatever I want with. So what I'll do from there is like the Blue Island Film Festival I know of just because of living on the south side of Chicago. Blue Island is one of the suburbs around here, right? That has a lot of like artsy people in it. And then there's other film festivals like the 14 Film Festival that my other film just got third place in. That kind of stuff pops up here and there. You can go on Film Freeway and that has a list of film festivals that are kind of ongoing, and I can send it wherever I want. I'll make sure that it goes to Troma Dance for next year.
Sure.
Hopefully we get screened at that. I think this one I think definitely will because this is very much a Troma movie. The only thing it's missing is nudity, which now that I have time, I might try to find out a way to put in some boobs.
Just fucking insert a picture of boobs.
Just boobs. I know. I really wanted to do boobs this year. We got real close to it.
I'll send you a picture of my boobs, and then we could sell it for.
I don't want to see your boobs. That would be weird. That would be. I think of you like a sister. I don't want to.
Well, but then like everybody could buy it. Everybody would buy it then if we advertise.
I want to. You know what I want to do? Just sidestepping real quick because you were just on the Y2K movie podcast talking about Be My Cat. I want to do a Be My Cat about you. I swear to God, I think that's a good idea.
Do it.
I could. You just and even though like people might not, you're not necessarily as big of a name as Anne Hathaway. I think that
almost, but
the idea of doing a guy that's obsessed with a I don't want to say Q list, but just like a mild internet celebrity chick.
Some e-girl.
Yeah. just a guy that's obsessed with some fucking Midwestern e-girl.
Sure.
And so what we're talking about is me and Daniel Thorndyke from the Blue Moon Blue Room podcast. Blue Room Insight podcast. I'm sorry, Dan. I'm sorry, Danny.
He listens to the show too.
I know. I listen to his show too. God damn it. So we do the Y2K movie podcast, and we had Asher's on Friday's episode. And it was our first guest, which is something that we're going to do sporadically. And it was also our first double feature, which is something that we're going to start doing sporadically. But Asher's was both at the same time because she is a glutton. And what we decided to do was she brought up doing Be My Cat, a film for Anne, which is a found footage fake documentary about a Romanian filmmaker that is trying to make a movie to impress Anne Hathaway. And it's a very meta concept, very high concept film. And that was part one of the double feature. Part two was Colossal. And if you want to hear our thoughts on that, go listen to that episode. It was really good. It just came out Friday. But Be My Cat, really kind of when I was watching it, I couldn't help but think that like, there's probably people out there that are like that obsessed with you.
Oh, I think I could probably even name drop some. I got a pretty good idea about who they are.
I know, and I'm like, there's neckbeards out there that probably feel this way about Asher's. I'm like, what if we, it just kind of got the wheels turning about doing something like that about you. And I don't know. I'm going to percolate on that idea, and I think you should too. And if you have ideas, you should send them my way.
I would participate. Yeah,
I think that would be really interesting.
I say it all the time. I'm not an actress, but I'm fucking damn good at playing myself, so.
Well, so is Mike Vanderbilt. I'm very good about writing parts for my friends where they don't have to act that much. They just have to, I bring out their finer qualities. And, because that's the whole point of like the reason that I do this year after year and my friends are willing to come out and do it with me is that I don't make anyone look bad. You know what I mean? I kind of know who I'm working with and I know what their strengths are. And the whole idea of making a movie in general, but also making a movie with your friends is not to make anyone look stupid. It's to kind of show the idealized version of themselves, I think. Not that my shit's like that grounded in reality, but if we were, and once you develop that trust with people, they're willing to come out and do whatever you want them to do because they know that it's going to be good. They know you're going to make them look good, and they know that they're going to have something that they can be proud of, that they can fucking share with their friends and family, and they can, whatever. Another thing for fucking social media. So if we ever did that, I would. We'd have to figure out a way to do it though, because like, Be My Cat, Anne Hathaway is not in it, so we'd have to do a version of that movie where Anne Hathaway is actually in it, and what would that look like? So it would be similar, but it would have to be different in a lot of ways too.
The biggest disappointment to me about Be My Cat is that Anne Hathaway wants nothing to do with it.
Right, but I mean, even if she did after the fact, even if she made some kind of public statement, that's still not within the context of the film. So how would we do it? Where, I mean, I think what would be interesting is that you probably wouldn't have to show up to the end. And what we could really do is if we shot your part at one of these paranormal conventions, where that's where the guy kind of finally confronts you. Yeah, I think that would be interesting because it would add production value. Because we film at one of these conventions, I'm sure the convention would let us do it. Yeah. What we should do is we should set this up and we should film the climax at the Loveland Frog thing. Yeah, you know what I mean.
At least have that part. Then you could film all the way. You have to find your guy.
Well, yeah, we have. I mean, that's the timing for that would work out perfect because that's like what, next spring? Yeah. All right, so fucking that gives us 6 months to write the script and come up with everything, put everything together, and then we just film it. And then when we go to we shoot the climax at the Loveland, whatever Jeff's calling the thing. I'm really bad with names and shit. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I just don't remember anything. So I don't remember what Jeff's thing is called. Not being a dick, Jeff. Dan, I don't remember what your show's called. Not being an asshole. I just, too much drugs, man. Too much partying.
Pedo started doing cocaine at 14. And at 40.
At 41. Then his heart exploded. From too much love. Yeah, right.
Too much love.
Love and cocaine.
That's what
I
we'll
always,
call the movie, Love and Cocaine.
I always tell people like the aneurysm that they found, that was just bad genetics. That was because I'm a tall dude. That was Marfan disorder. That was has nothing to do with anything. My busted out mitral valve, that might have been because of cocaine. I don't know. that might have been from partying too hard back in the day, but not my aneurysm. The aneurysm is completely unrelated. Um,
That's a different drug.
that's it's totally, that was all the ecstasy, I think. Like I said, too much love, man. I just
Yeah.
almost made my heart explode. So, I don't know.
Love kills. Yeah.
That was my weekend. What did you get up to besides fucking fighting off lingering death?
That's what I did. I mean, I was sick all fucking weekend. I watched the fucking entirety of the Dahmer series, which is 10 episodes, an hour apiece. 10 hours watching. I don't ever watch anything. Like, it was so weird to just sit around. I'm not good at that. But that's what I fucking did. I watched the whole thing. It was, so when everybody's talking, just talk of town. It's okay, you know. Um, they did not even give a call to the Adam Walsh thing,
Okay.
which makes me which I get it. I get it. People accept that Otis Toole killed Adam Walsh, but I am going to prove that incorrect one of these days when we do an episode about it. So,
who did the Dahmer thing? Was it Ryan Murphy and
yeah, I
Evan
guess so.
Peters?
Yeah.
So it was the kid from American Horror Story and Quicksilver from the X-Men movies, Evan Peters.
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't watch
I've never
it.
watched American Horror Story, and I've never watched whatever the other things you said was.
I don't know. Yeah, I think
X-Men, yeah. Never
my
watched it.
wife was watching it. I'm not sure.
It's pretty good. I mean, I guess. I mean, it's not really good. It's just, if you just want more Dahmer, fucking go watch it, I guess. Or just
How
go
gay is it?
It's very gay.
Awesome.
It was actually hilarious because, like, the first episode, what I don't like about it is that the timeline, like, jumps around. It goes, like, all over the place. And you kind of, if you don't know the Dahmer story, then you can get confused pretty quick. I mean, obviously, when, like, it's child Dahmer and adult Dahmer, but it jumps around so much, it's not really told in a linear way. So it starts off in the beginning. And, with the guy that got away and the police show up to his house and figure out that he's been killing people. But the police show up and they like want to go in his bedroom to go look for the guy's handcuff key. And he's like, "Oh, you don't want to go in there. There's gay stuff. I just keep my gay stuff in there." Just like, what the fuck, dude? And the fucking cop opens up his bedside table drawer and finds his Polaroids. And that's exactly what happened. He found the Polaroids of the fucking dead bodies that he would pose and mutilate. And he's like, "Oh, you don't want to look at those. That's just gay stuff." I mean, it was like his excuse. So I'm going to start using that whenever I don't want people to like ruffle through my things. Like, it's just gay stuff in there. And my mom called me today and she's like, she told me she started watching it and she was watching it. She was in her kitchen and her boyfriend walks in and she said she got kind of embarrassed. She turned it off. I was like, "Oh, you should just tell him I'm watching
Yeah,
gay
that's
stuff."
gay stuff.
So
Yeah, it is Ryan Murphy and Evan Peters. I might have to check it out. I think my wife started it already, but I'm a sucker for anything Ryan Murphy does.
Oh,
So
okay. I've heard the opposite. I've heard a lot of people don't like him, but I mean, this was all right. I liked it. It kept my attention, and I don't, it was good. So I'm critical of those things, but that's what I did. I pretty much didn't do not a motherfucking thing. I'm trying to heal up because I'm supposed to be in West Virginia this weekend at the Ravenswood Library in Ravenswood, West Virginia, talking about Mothman. So, so far, I'm gonna fucking be there unless I die. So,
well, what do you think is wrong with you? I mean, like, is it just like a sinus thing? Because I was, if you listen to the Y2K episode, like, you can hear I had a nasal infection too, and my voice is like 2 octaves deeper, and
yeah,
kind of how you got that musky, throaty thing going on.
Yeah. Yesterday I thought for sure I'd like wake up today, wouldn't have a voice. Because it was so much worse. I don't know. I took 2 COVID tests. They're both negative. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, they say I hate to sound like such a fucking old man right now, but they say that this allergy season's really bad. That, I don't know, a bunch of shit's dying off at the same time or something.
Okay, right. So on the 21st, Pat, it was 90 degrees. And on the 22nd, it was 60.
Yeah, same here.
It was fucking fall in one day.
Yeah. And now it's like 50 out.
No,
You
it's
know.
well, it's been like 60s and 70s here. It's not been too bad. But yeah, I just woke up one day and it was fucking magically fall. So I don't know. I'm just sick. It happens. I was at the Mothman Festival with a bunch of people. What can you do?
Yeah, I was like, oh, am I gonna get COVID from this? And uh, yeah,
No,
I
my
think
daughter, my mom had messaged me while I was in West Virginia for Mothman and told me that she gave my daughter a COVID test because she was coughing real bad. So she was already sick. And then, of course, my kid's 10. So she just coughs like literally. I was in the kitchen the one day and she's just fucking open mouth coughing everywhere. And I'm like, you've just got to be fucking kidding me.
well, you know
Like,
what it is too. Like I used to bang school teachers, and school like the first September is like when all the kids come back, and they all share each other's germs and shit. And I used to get, she was immune to it because she had been a school teacher for years and years and just built up the immunity. But me, the joker that was living with her, I would get sick every September from her
yeah,
because she would
yeah.
get it from the kids and bring it home to me, and I would be like dead every fucking September. And I wouldn't be surprised if that's not a part of it too, as our kids going back to school and then coming
Yeah.
and you know,
They're fucking gross. Kids are fucking gross. It's just the way it is.
yeah, they are.
So, I mean, it's okay. I'm already feeling better. I don't sound great. But like we were supposed to record Sunday for Weird World, and I just couldn't. There was no way. There was no fucking way I could do that. And then I woke up today. I feel better. So I'm getting there again. I'm hopeful I'll be in West Virginia this weekend. That'll be great.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. You want to talk about some news?
Let's talk about some news.
I got two news. I got two newses for you. One is it's the hot new topic, the National Aviation Intelligence Integration Office.
Are you talking about the theme song or the patch? The logo.
Oh, fuck the fucking theme song. Fuck the fucking theme song. Okay. I do not want to hear that is not real. That does not exist. I'm just going to pretend that it's not a thing in my world
Okay.
because
But
fuck the fucking theme song.
audience members look it up because it's fucking wacky.
It's so goddamn stupid.
But so are all of them. Like I don't.
But why? It's 2022. That a fresh fucking start. I get why the other ones are, right? It's because all that shit was discovered back in ancient times or whatever. But like, it's 2022. Like,
They should have like what? Like I don't know.
I don't
Like
know.
Ti do it or something.
Yeah, something fucking else.
Spice.
Not a fucking marching band song. It was terrible.
Oh.
I don't know. They could have done fucking anything else. Anyway, this is the logo. I was going to talk about the logo. So this Alphabet organization came out with a new logo, and people are losing their shit because it features a couple of different, jets and planes and things. But also it has a UFO on it.
It sure does.
It
A
sure
legit
does.
flying saucer.
Straight up. That's what that is. There's no mistaking that. There's no, it's a classic fucking flying saucer, and it's like separate. Like everybody else, all the other planes and shit are like going together. They're flying together. The saucer isn't. I thought that was. What does that mean?
The Office of the Director of National Intelligence.
Right.
NIM Aviation.
Right. It's the National Aviation Intelligence Integration Office.
This does not make sense to me. My head cannot wrap around what is happening or why they are doing this. It seems like a fucking joke. I don't think it's funny. I find that very, very disturbing. And I saw it and I thought it was a joke. And I know that it's not a joke. And now that like you're bringing it up and I have to really kind of reckon with it, my mind does not like that.
Why?
I got to tell you, I find that really, really disturbing.
Why?
Because why would you do that? What are you saying? This is step one. What's step two? It defies logic. Why would you put that on there?
I mean, recognition, I guess.
Of what?
Of UFOs.
In the fucking logo? Like that is just that to me is like sociopath.
It's weird to me that it's so because it looks photoshopped on there. Like it's so out of place with the whole rest of again. You got all these crafts flying together, and then the UFO is like off doing its own thing.
That's got.
So it's like they didn't want to show the UFO in unity with the United States Air Force, but they still wanted it to be there.
It doesn't even make sense why it's on there. I don't. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how to process that. I do not have the answers.
And it's real, right? This is an actual government. I mean, if you guys really, I mean, if there's anybody listening to this show, and I don't think anybody does, but if there's anybody listening to this show that still questions the existence of UFOs and things like that, this needs to just, I mean, what else do you need? What else do you need? One to land in your fucking yard and for aliens to pop out and go, "Hey, we're here." I don't know what else you would need besides what we got. So
Yeah,
that's
it's
my take on it.
like I said, it's disturbing. I don't know.
Pat O is disturbed.
I am. I think that it's is it we're putting this in there because this will have some kind of significance in 6 months when some other kind of announcement is made. You know what I mean? Is this the precursor to something different where suddenly this symbolism will make more sense? Is it trolling, or is it just like
The government's not funny enough to troll.
I don't know what the deal is? Why would you do that?
They wouldn't put the shit in there for a joke.
Why would you put the shit? You shouldn't put the shit in there at all. There's no reason to put the shit in there that I could think of. That's the thing. It's like, you know how people talk about like I don't want to go full Lovecraft, but like when people come across something that just doesn't it defies explanation, their brain can't make sense of it, and like they have like they don't not necessarily well like it's just it's abnormal. Their brain can't process it. They're questioning what you're seeing. I don't know why that's there
Because
on a government
disclosure.
agency logo.
Because disclosure is happening. Because they're telling us with this fucking UFO task force, UAP task force, I don't remember their fucking names. But they're saying we are acknowledging the existence of these things. They've said that numerous times. We don't know what the hell they are, but we acknowledge that they exist.
Yeah, but the fact that they would put in a flying saucer like that when that's kind of like, I mean, I don't even know the statistical breakdown, but is the flying saucer the most reported type of craft?
That's a good
Or
question.
yeah, you know what I mean? Like there's other like they're using something that's universally recognizable as a signal for extraterrestrial life, as a symbol for
Well,
extraterrestrial
right.
life.
If they put the black triangle, you're just like, oh, it's a fucking fighter jet.
Right. So they're very clearly trying to convey extraterrestrial life.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay, so like your graphic designers are in on this. Do the rest of us get brought in on this anytime soon?
Probably
Should
not. No.
shouldn't like this logo have been made public after you have the conversation, or is it like, or mom and dad like it's like mom and dad sit the kids down at the kitchen table and they tell them they're getting divorced, and then dad gets a new apartment, and then dad gets a new girlfriend, and mom starts it's like no, dad just came home with a fucking 20-year-old and is banging her now. Like what? Like no, there's steps to how you do this.
Yeah.
Right, like you haven't sat the kids down at the kitchen table and had to talk with them yet.
Yeah.
You're just putting out graphic design artwork with fucking aliens on it.
Well,
That's why I'm saying, I'm like, that's fucking crazy to me. Like, what the fuck? Who came up with this fucking plan? I know there's people in a room somewhere getting paid to think about this shit. This is what they came up with. I can't. It just seems very like stupid and irresponsible. And I'm thinking like, unless I don't have all the information and I'm not understanding this plan of attack here.
well, because we will never ever, for one, there will never be the talk. We'll never get the talk ever. It's always going to come in these weird little hints dropped all around, and then they can be like, "Well, we told you." Just like the fucking one thing that nobody ever talks about anymore is when this all started happening back in 2016, 2017. I think think it was 2017. Actually, 2020 is when they finally came out and admitted those videos were theirs. The Pentagon admitted that they had debris of crafts. They admitted that. That's not a conspiracy. That's not something that some obscure maybe scientist somewhere said. The fucking Pentagon said we have debris of craft and we don't know what it is. And nobody ever talks about that anymore. But they told us, so that's all we needed to know. That was good enough. And that's exactly how these things will continue to happen. Now, why they're randomly trying to fucking pepper these bombshells in right now, I have no idea. But, I got theories about it. Maybe that's what we should have done the episode on today. Oh, well. We didn't.
I mean, the episode's about whatever it's about. I don't know.
It's about whatever it's about. That's all right. I didn't do my research on it. But, yeah, I mean, it's just peppering in more of the evidence because they know about it. They know what they're doing. They know that things are happening, that these are otherworldly craft. I mean, that's that. I mean, it's simple.
You would like to think they know what they're doing, but then sometimes it's like you're giving these people too much credit, maybe. I don't know. I mean, I work.
Oh, I don't think they know what mans those crafts. No.
Yeah, and I think just having a articulate. Well, I don't know. That's the thing is that the conspiracy theorist in me likes to think that there is a very calculated, well orchestrated plan for all of this. The person that has worked in the pub, like I don't know if I just not that I work for the government, but you know what I do, and I see how municipalities are run, and you realize they're it's just people. At the end of the day, it's just people that weren't smart enough to make a fortune in private industry that work in the public sector. It's not our best and brightest. It's our most reliable and somewhat capable, I guess. So at the end of the day, the people that decide the shit, the people that design these logos and approve these logos and think it's a good idea, they're just fucking clowns like anyone else. They're not exceptionally brilliant or smart or no one consulted Elon Musk or fucking Neil deGrasse Tyson about any of this shit. Probably they just did it, and we're like, okay,
I mean, I would like to think that the people that run those organizations are smarter than those people. They're not just everyday Joes. I mean, they're smart people. I don't think this was just again, this wasn't a troll move. This wasn't, let's just freak people out. They wouldn't do that. I'm just going to say what I think and have thought this entire time. The government knows things, but they don't know as much as people like to think they know. They don't have some secret treaty with other species and other planets. They don't communicate with them like that. Have they talked to them before? Maybe. Do they have physical evidence of spaceships? Probably, yeah. But do they know what they do? Do they know how they work? Probably not, no.
Mm-hmm.
And the issue is coming forward and going, yeah, we know some shit, but we don't know enough. We still don't know. And we know that. We can prove that people freak out when our authority does not have an answer. So I think that they're just trying to kind of say, hey, look, we really fucking don't have an answer for a lot of this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, all you have to do is, I saw the world change because of 9/11. And we kind of, before that, we had this idea that, we kicked so much ass in the Gulf War in the early 90s. And, America was kind of this like fortress unto itself. And we just felt like everything was in control and everything was under control. And that was fine. We didn't have to worry about anything. We didn't have to worry about terrorist attacks on American soil. Even after Columbine and even after Timothy McVeigh and the Oklahoma City bombings and shit like that, you still didn't really worry about stuff. There was no TSA. There was no Homeland Security. You know what I mean? It was a different time to be alive. And then when 9/11 happened, we realized that the government was not all seeing, all powerful, all in control, and that we had to make sacrifices if we wanted to remain safe. And that's kind of collectively what we did as a nation, is we gave up a lot of our freedoms and allowed a lot more government oversight in our daily lives in exchange for protecting us from another 9/11 from happening, right? And that was a direct response to us realizing that we weren't as safe as we thought we were. That the people that we thought were in charge were still, they were fallible. They could make mistakes. Things could get through.
Sure.
Right? And the government coming forth and saying exactly what you're proposing would set the stage for another post 9/11 type
Right.
change in society.
Just at minimum fear. I mean, imagine that.
Yeah.
Hey, there's these fucking beings that they're not even human. They're not even like us. They live on a different planet. We don't really know how they work. We don't know how they operate, but they're visiting us for some reason. And we still don't really know why. But don't freak out.
Well, but then here's the thing. How do you talk about the spaceships without talking about the occupants?
Yeah.
How do you talk about the spaceship and the occupants without talking about abductions?
Right.
And now do you have if you confirm alien life, do you somehow at the same time confirm every abduction story that everybody has ever heard?
Right.
And now do you have an entire planet full of people going to bed every night fearing alien abduction?
Mm-hmm. And there's nothing we can do about it.
I mean, think about the way that white people used to be afraid about black people just coming into their neighborhood.
Oh yeah.
Now you're going to have everybody worrying about these things that we cannot defend against, that we can't, they come and go as they please. We don't know what they're doing. We don't know how to stop them. They're invading our airspace, and sometimes they're taking people.
Well, they have said repeatedly they're a threat.
How do we even begin? How does society shift from there? What happens? Does everybody buy a gun? How do we protect them from coming into our homes? Do we put alarm systems? Do we lock ourselves in our homes? Does the government say we have a system that we want to put in your home to prevent them from coming in? We've developed the kind of technology. I mean, it could go so fucking nuts. It could go anywhere from there. But I don't know how much you can talk about UFOs and once you acknowledge their existence. I mean, it's going to be a pretty short fucking news cycle before the next thing comes in is abductions are real too.
I mean, I think we're getting there. I think that's kind of this is all being released in steps, right? So we start talking about the craft. Well, what are they? Well, we know and have confirmed that they are not ours. So they're not ours. They're not the U.S.'s. We know and have confirmed they are not from a foreign country. Okay, so it's not coming from us. It's not coming from a foreign country. It's not coming from anybody on Earth. And we know this because they're pulling off maneuvers that we cannot do. We know that. We watch the science happen. And we know that it's not possible. That's all we know, really, so far about them. And I think that's probably valid. But let's start there. Let's just accept the fact that there are strange lights in the sky that happen that we don't know what they are. Let's get people to accept that. And then we go from there. That was my first question. How are they going to start treating abductees? Because that directly affects people. But they have said multiple times, over and over again, for one, they're not from here. They're not from anything that we know, period. And they are a threat. Why do they think they're a threat? Is it because of abductees? Is it because they're kind of hanging around our military a lot? Why? What's threatening about them? What have they done to threaten us? I don't know. But then they haven't talked about like big events that they should have been talking about, and they kind of approached that when they did the when they did the fucking
Senate hearing.
Yeah, when they did the thing where they all sat down and talked about it. They did that thing. They all sat down. They talked about it, and then they had a meeting afterwards that we all weren't allowed to see.
Exactly. Yeah.
And we're supposed to be like, oh, okay, that's fine. You guys have your.
They had like a 2-hour thing from like 10 to fucking noon on a Thursday, and then I remember.
Then they're like, okay, we're gonna go talk in private now. It's not about this though at all. Don't worry. It's weird. but some topics were talked about that they just acted like they didn't know anything about, like the fucking like the Malmstrom fucking thing where the UFOs fucking turned off our missiles and shit, like disengaged our fucking weapons and shit. And like that happened. Like that's not like, again, that's not fucking folklore. It's not a conspiracy. That happened. And the fucking government sat there and said, "Oh, we've never heard. We don't know anything about that. Bullshit. You don't know anything about that." So
Mhm.
it's just weird. There's a lot of weird stuff still going on with it. Anyway, I don't want to waste too much more time on it. The point of it is that this happened. They put a UFO in their logo. What does that mean next? I don't know. I guess we'll talk about it when it happens. We'll get there. So anyway, there's some Nessie news.
Mm.
So a couple of webcams, I think 5 of them were installed around the lock. And some guy claims that he caught Nessie on him. Of course, what it is just, things in the water. God, I sound terrible. Oh well. It's
No,
just,
you don't.
I think I do. I'm like probably breathing heavy and shit. Like, sounding all exhausted and winded. Anyway, so what it is that this guy says that he caught, fucking shapes in the water. Maybe they're Nessie. There's a group of people that are kind of pissed off about this and don't think that these webcam sightings should be set in the official sighting registry.
And why is that?
Well, because you can't prove that that's not, weather related or just a big fish or a bird or, there's no way for you to prove that it's actually Nessie. It's just a shape in the water. So they think that it takes away the credibility of the Loch Ness Monster and they're upset about it. And so they are trying to petition with the official registry to have it so that you can't report a Nessie sighting with these webcams unless you can make out facial features, which I think is a pretty big ask, don't you?
Yeah, because I don't think, has there ever, I mean,
No.
yeah, you're setting a standard for footage that's never been achieved outside of the webcam arena. Why would you
Suddenly.
yeah, it don't make any fucking sense.
Right. Now, granted, the registry doesn't typically register webcam sightings. They, believe it or not, that Loch Ness Monster sightings website, they fucking do good work. Like they legit make sure that these are as close as possible as they could get to a Nessie sighting. You can't just be like, I saw Nessie and that's that. That there's a lot that goes into it, which is why we don't have these reports in right away. It usually takes some time for them, and especially for them to become official. But they're not slouches when it comes to reporting like the webcam. There's been a Nessie webcam forever. I remember being, a stupid kid that loved cryptozoology, and I'd fucking watch those webcams for hours. And I used to think, I'm going to see Nessie on there. I never did. But I thought I was going to. I was fucking watching that shit all day, every day to make sure I was. I was a weird kid. Imagine that. But anyway, I know you're all surprised to hear that. But yeah, so, they're trying to come up with some type of criteria that makes sure that it's not just shapes in the water that's being classified. So I don't know. We'll see. These 2 new webcam sightings, are they Nessie sightings? Fuck it. We'll call it. We've been reporting them every week for at least the last year now. So we'll add them on there. But yeah, Nessie news. We'll see if they make some type of criteria. So that's what I got. That's what I got this week. Pato, you want to talk
Nice.
about the Spaceman photograph?
Sure. So we were supposed to have someone from another podcast on, but they backed out at the last second this morning. So Asher's decided that we should talk about the Solway Firth Spaceman.
Oh yeah.
It's a picture that I guess you should stop right now and look up because we're going to be referencing one specific picture for the duration of this podcast. And it was a picture that I was familiar with. I remember seeing somewhere. You had mentioned that this case was on Unsolved Mysteries. I don't know if that's where I saw it or if it was something else.
I think it was on Unsolved Mysteries, but
yeah, I feel like I might have. It was something a little bit more pulpier. I remember this trading card thing from Topps that was weird paranormal stuff for like shockingly true stories of the unknown or some shit like that. And this to me feels like something that might have been on one of them.
That's fucking sweet.
Yeah, but basically it was a photograph taken in May of 1964 by a fireman and local historian named Jim Templeton in uh, Solway, Firth, which is in Cumbria, England. And he was out with his family, took a picture of his son, and in the background, when he took the picture, it was just his kid just chilling out.
Took a picture of his daughter.
Oh, whatever. I can't, with that haircut, how can you tell? You know what I mean? Very androgynous. A young David Bowie. But no, I took a picture of this kid. Well, then you fucking describe. Why are you making me do this?
I
Dumping this shit on my fucking
plate. I was
plate.
just asking if you're ready to get into it. You're the one that jumped into it.
I'm trying to carry you.
Go.
I'm running underneath you with the fucking blanket, just trying to catch you, baby.
I was just letting you go for it. Okay, I'm taking over.
Right.
May 23rd, 1964, Jim Templeton and his wife Annie and his child, doesn't matter what her name is, I don't think it's ever been disclosed, go to someplace, England, some fucking beach somewhere. Jim is an amateur photographer. He's taking pictures of his daughter. And at one point in time, he has his daughter pose and he's taking pictures of her with his Kodiak camera. Kodak is
the
bear.
Like the dip. Or it's a bear too.
There's a Kodiak dip?
Yeah.
Is it good?
The wintergreen long cut.
Oh, dip. Like, I thought you were talking about food.
Like French onion? No.
Yeah.
I'm talking about like dip.
Is it delicious? I don't know.
I mean, you're not supposed to swallow it, but whatever.
The dip, the tobacco. Gotcha.
Right.
Anyway, so he's going, he has her pose and he's taking pictures of her. He took 3 pictures of her and takes his pictures and goes and gets them developed. Well, while he's getting them developed, the person at the Kodak place is like, hey, these were some great series of pictures here, except for someone fucked up your one and stood right in it. That's rude of them. Kind of looks like Spaceman. I don't know who that was, but and the guy takes a look at it and he goes, that is a fucking Spaceman. I don't, okay, all right, so let's stop there. So obviously you've done the right thing and you have went and now looked at the picture. Either you have seen the advertisement that I have pushed all over social media or you have gone and searched it yourself or maybe you're familiar with it. Go look at the picture. Okay, yeah, it kind of does look like a spaceman, I guess. I wouldn't look at that and immediately think spaceman. But, people have different imaginations. So, he knows that it's not his wife. And nobody else was there that day at the beach or whatever this was. And I think it was a beach. His wife was standing behind him while he took these pictures. He knows that. He was taking these pictures specifically to take a photo shoot of his child. So he knows it wasn't her. Now he went and took the footage, took the negatives and the pictures to Kodak and had them just make sure and verify that there was no tampering, and there wasn't. At least not with that photograph. People have later come forward and said that they strongly believe, actually it's been pretty wildly accepted that is his wife in the picture. Because in the other pictures that he had that day, you can see his wife, Annie, was wearing this dress, this like sleeveless dress. And they think that the white is just coming from overexposure. The head is just because she had a dark hair and bob cut. But I don't know if I agree with that either.
Yeah, I don't buy that at all.
I don't think because it just doesn't. I mean, it looks like it's clearly wearing some type of white. And to me, if it were like the sleeves, whatever it is, look like long sleeves.
Right. Agreed.
Yeah, it doesn't look like a sleeveless because there's no like puff at the shoulder between like the shoulder and the arm or whatever. And
the head looks like it's got a mask on it. There clearly seems to be a hood where it's white on top. It looks. What's crazy about it to me is that it looks like it does look like a spaceman, but I mean, you could come up with a couple different explanations. Like, was it like some kind of toy that was like, you know what I mean, or something like that? Because that could be like think about how tall that would have to be, how tall that person would have to be for that picture. where they would have to be standing because you can see the horizon line behind the kid's head, right? So like, where were they standing? How tall are they? Um,
Right.
it, it's very it's very confusing, and I could see if people wanted to argue that it wasn't real. However, I don't think you can say that that was his wife. And somehow just her dress was exposed differently than entirely than the rest of the photo to create that kind of look. That explanation doesn't hold water with me. You want to
Right.
argue that it's not real, fine, but that I don't think that it's the wife. That doesn't make sense to
No,
me.
I don't either. I mean, I could kind of understand why people say that, and just accept that. But, I agree. Looking at it clearly, whatever it is, its back is facing the camera. Okay. I mean, I guess, unless aliens have like backwards arms, because you can see like where the elbow bends, would be like if it was a human, then it's the back. You're looking at the back.
Oh, that's right.
You didn't see that? You thought that was the front?
I thought that was the front. I thought it was a person with like, yeah. You're
No,
right
that's
though.
clearly the back, right? And like I said, unless aliens could have backwards arms, I don't know. Their elbows point outwards instead of back. I don't know. But it looks like the back. I mean, even like you can kind of see the definition of like where the shoulder blades would be. But to me, that looks not like a very feminine figure because of those shoulder blades. It looks weird. But it does look like some type of like hood at the back of the base of the neck, something hanging like a hoodie almost. I don't know. It's just a weird material. But if it were like a necklace that she had, I mean, it could be, if it was the wife, the necklace could be like weird. She needs to fix it and pull it to the front. I don't know. It looks strange. But I don't know. I don't know what it is. I can't tell you it's not a spaceman, but there were some very odd circumstances otherwise, revolving around this. So Mr. Templeton claimed that two men wearing all black and driving a Jaguar came to his house and wanted to know more. They actually wanted to take him to the spot. They wanted him to show him the spot where he took the picture. So he gets in the car with these strange men because it's 1964 and that's what you do. It's just gay stuff. It's fine. Nobody's interested. They're just doing gay stuff. And they go to the spot and, he shows them where it is where I took the picture or whatever. And there's like two versions of the story. The most popular version is that they wanted him to answer if he could see that being there, right now, if he could see it right now. And he said no. And they got mad at him for that. So they just left him there and left. The other version of the story is that they took him there and wanted him to tell everybody that this was fake, that this was a hoax, that it never happened, and he refused. So then they just left him there. Either way, there was some type of altercation that happened, and they got mad at him and they left him there at the spot. And I don't know how he got back home. I don't know. He walked. I don't know. He flew with a spaceman friend. I don't know. Another thing that Templeton had reported was that a technician from the Blue Stream missile project in Australia had come to him because this story got huge. He took it to the police. The police were like, who cares about this? Then he took it to the media, and the media was like, fuck yeah, we're all over this. This made international news. It was such a big famous photograph. It made international news. So some technician comes forward all the way from Australia and says, hey, there was supposed to be a missile launch that day, but we canceled it because there were two figures that looked exactly like that thing in that picture that were walking around the launch pad. And then that's it. I mean, I don't know if anybody can verify that. Nobody can. Kodak offered a reward for anybody that could prove that this was fake, for anybody that could replicate this photo. They offered a monetary award, which nobody ever collected. Nobody could ever do. So
yeah, it does kind of look like a it does kind of look like a radioactive like suit. You know what I mean? Like if you were
like
to
what you would wear.
like if you were to see people in a movie and they were, like when Homer Simpson wears his radioactive
Yeah.
suit, and he takes it off and the fuck. Yeah, like that's what it looks like. It
It
looks like
does.
they're wearing a white or silver radioactive suit, and that's the visor, the face visor. That's why it's black, but it's still got the white hood because it's like, the hood for the suit.
You're looking at the back of it? I don't know.
Yeah, that's my 2 cents. That's what it looks like to me.
Yeah, it's weird, but like, what's the logic there? Okay, so he catches this. I mean, why is it an alien? Why is it not a ghost?
I think this is just me hypothesizing because I'm a creative person that likes to make up stories on the spot. If you think about all of this, could be somebody, and same thing with this site, the missile launched in Australia or whatever. Think about all of the people over the past 50 years. Well, this thing's like 60 years old, so past 60 years, 70 years, 80 years. Think about all the people that have been lost to science and the exploration of the unknown. All right, all the experiments that all the different countries have done over the past 100 years, trying to split atoms, trying to open portals, trying to do all kinds of shit. Sure, we've lost a decent amount of people in those experiments. The Philadelphia experiment, right? Stuff like that. What do you think those people were wearing?
I don't.
You know what I mean?
Wearing
I'm sure.
radioactive suits.
I'm sure there's at least a couple dozen people throughout the in the annals of history, scientists that have died experimenting on stuff, trying to time travel, teleportation, whatever, wearing shit like that. And maybe this is just one of them popping up somewhere briefly, winking in and out.
Did you say anal?
Annals
I know.
of history. God, I was listening to one of our old podcasts once, and it was so interesting. I don't know. We were talking about something, and you're like, well, I'm an anal queen. And I'm like, I remember when Ashers used to talk like that.
I don't talk much like that anymore.
You don't do that so much anymore. Not so much. Not so much with the anal stuff. But back then, when we first started this podcast, goddamn, you could just talk about putting anything in your butt.
I mean,
age has done it to you. You know what I mean? We all get old. Welcome to it.
No. That's still very true.
That was back. I honestly think you were like in your 20s then. You might have been. You might have been 29.
I might have been 29. Yeah, but no. It's still very true. It's just that I figured you guys already know, but in case you don't, I love anal. And uncut dicks.
Oh my God. Filthy redhead woman.
Well, we hadn't talked enough about sex this episode and genitals, and I know how everybody fucking just loves to hate that. So,
yeah, not as much as I hate honkies. Did I mention last weekend what people were saying about that at the Mothman Festival? No, what?
I was telling people about how we're allegedly racist against white people, and every fucking person was like, well, yeah, fuck white people.
Fucking crackers.
And they were white people too, so they're allowed to say
cracker ass crackers.
Yeah, those cracker ass honkies. Anyway, back to the Spaceman. You're right. Some people think that this could be a time traveler.
Yeah.
Who just kind of dipped in on accident or something, like he was on the way. Because whatever it was, it didn't like stop and hang out with them. It wasn't like there all of a sudden.
Well, yeah, what's interesting, was it there in such a flash that only the camera caught it and these guys weren't paying attention, didn't see it? Or was it one of those things where the camera caught something that wasn't visible to the naked eye?
At the time,
right. Is this like, I don't know.
So the camera itself, I mean, that's one argument that people have, that it's the wife, is that maybe James, maybe he did not know that his wife was standing there, because this particular camera, you could actually only see 70% in the viewfinder than what you're actually taking a picture of.
Yeah, but that kid's fucking head is part of that 70%. Like, it would be one thing if this thing was off into the side of the frame, but it's right behind the kid's head.
Yeah, right behind the kid's head, right. I agree with that.
Yeah.
So maybe he couldn't, but that's what people say. Maybe he didn't see her. But then again, you would think he'd pull up, or it would be in the other pictures, because this picture is a series of 3 pictures, and it's not there in the other 2. and then all of a sudden it is.
Hmm.
Okay, I was like,
No, you didn't lose me. I'm
okay,
contemplating.
all right, you know, so I don't know, again, is this fake? It could be fake, I guess. Is it real? I don't know, it could be fucking real. I wasn't there. I didn't take the fucking picture. I don't know.
I don't think it's fake.
Well, it's obviously not fake. Like, it's a real picture, first of all, so whatever it was. But is it a spaceman? Is it a time traveler? Is it, like I said, why not a ghost? It could be a ghost. I mean, the fact that, they are calling it jumping to an alien because I guess it looks kind of like what you would think a spaceman looks like in the 1960s. Oh,
Yeah,
that's
that's very
neat.
true.
So it's, I mean, that's why they call it that, but who knows what the hell it is.
You know who would probably be a good guest to have on sometime? And this is I can't think of anyone specific, but just a general statement. You know, before we had camera phones where you just took a picture and then digital photography and that whole thing, you would have to go to these things called camera stores and photomarts, photoshops, right? And you would have to bring your film there and they would turn your film into pictures. This is going way back, probably before most of our audience was able to buy things with money. So
Most of
that's
our audience is between 40 and 60.
I forgot.
I didn't.
That's right. I'm sure you don't. So guys, okay. So my fellow elder statesmen, you know what I'm talking about here. Think about all the shit those people saw. I had an uncle that he was only about 15 years older than me. He was married to my mom's sister, so he was my uncle-in-law or whatever. And he worked at Able Camera and Video in Mount Greenwood. And I remember him telling me that the local police departments, the suburban police departments, would come to him, and he saw a lot of crazy pictures of like investigations into the woods of like where the police departments would like be doing surveillance stuff on like
Oh, yeah.
kids partying to see if they were devil worshippers or whatever. And he said he saw some crazy shit. I'm not gonna even try to make up stories. I don't remember, but I remember him telling me this and saying that like the police would come to him and he'd have conversations with the office because of course you're looking at their pictures when you're developing the film. You're not. It was one of those things where like
Yeah.
so imagine all the shit you take on your cell phone, right?
Well, I think
Like
about it a lot. Yeah.
yeah, like you would have to give that to somebody and they would give it back to you. And if it, 9 times out of 10, it was just stuff from your fucking vacation. But imagine you were the type of person to take naked pictures of your wife.
Right.
If you didn't know how to develop that on your own, where else would you go? Right.
Right.
And I used to take naked pictures of my girlfriends in high school. And, which I was probably like, we were both young. So I think it wasn't like terribly illegal, but I wouldn't
That's
recommend.
legal.
Yeah, kids in high school don't do that now. But I would take the disposable cameras to like Walgreens and have them developed, and the guy would be like, "Here you go," and he
Give you
probably
a
kept
little wink.
doubles, which is fine. Like, but I was a pervert as a kid. But yeah, I'm sure that if there's anyone out there that knows, like, somebody that worked at a camera store, I'm sure you would see weird stuff all the time. And maybe some of it is because this seems to me like, did maybe two pictures get developed at once? You know what I mean? Where like that's an overlay or something. Like if you that because we know that's not photoshopped, right? Because it's from 1964. But think of for anyone out there that knows Photoshop, I mean that very much looks like one image just layered on top of another,
But
right?
Kodak said it was not tampered with. That is the
Okay,
original.
I get it. It might not have been, but I would like to hear this. Like I said, this is just was a side thought. Was that I'm sure those camera store people have fucking stories to tell, and I wonder
Oh, I want
how
to hear
many
those
of
stories.
yeah, I wonder how many of them have seen like oh here's a picture that you took and it looks like there's some kind of ghost in there, or there's fucking orbs, or there's
Freaking dead
whatever.
bodies. I mean,
Yeah, yeah. I don't know.
I would be interested. Have you ever watched that movie 1 Hour Photo?
Um, Honestly, no.
What?
I know it's Robin Williams, and he talks about Evangelion in it too for some reason. I remember.
Yeah, he's
Um,
very creepy.
Yeah, and he's obsessed with these people based on their pictures and
Yeah.
shit. But I never sat down and watched it.
Well, if I ever come on your show again, we'll watch 1 hour photo.
Is it that? I feel like that's probably right on the cutoff.
It's 2002.
Oh, okay.
I looked it up while you were talking.
Oh.
I was just curious. I don't know. It's all right. It's not great, but it's okay. Anyway, I agree with that. Yes, that would be interesting to hear people's head. Did you work in a photo lab? Do you know anybody that works in a photo lab? Did they tell you horrific stories about said photo lab? Let us know. Get a hold of us on social media. You can send us email on Wednesdays we talk weird at gmail.com or you can call us at 773-59-WEIRD. Leave us a voicemail. Tell us your weird story about you working in a photo lab. I sound like a radio DJ. I'd be pretty good at actual radio. Maybe I'll do that next. We'll see.
Sure.
Radio's dead. No, never mind. I changed my mind.
That's actually one of my it's one of my dreams is to host a morning show here in Chicago.
An actual radio morning show?
Oh, I would love to do that. That would be like a bucket list job.
I'd do it. Yeah, I think we should do it. We'd be good at it.
A morning radio show host?
Yeah. Yep.
Get to play music or whatever shit you listen to. I don't know.
I'd be bad about that. I'd be like, here's some fucking song. Listen to it, whatever.
Here's some Will Smith.
Here's some Will Smith.
And it would just be me making you listen to all the Alkaline Trio songs and Alphabetical Order and then asking you if you liked them. Did you like that?
I wouldn't know. I'd be like, now it's time for Will Smith. And you'd put a fucking Alkaline Trio and be like, that was Will Smith.
The B-side.
And then on the weekends, we do ICP.
Whoop, whoop.
This is a terrible radio station. All they play is fucking Will Smith, Alkaline Trio, and fucking ICP.
There we go.
Anyway, any other thoughts about the photo?
I think it's cool. I think it's a cool picture.
Cool. It's classic. Whether it's fake or not, or real or whatever. This is still a very historical image within ufology. I want to believe that it's a spaceman. But, who knows? I think oh, go ahead.
Is that picture copyrighted? We should turn that into a t-shirt and make the guy in the background saying something funny.
It is in public domain. We can do that. We can put it on a fucking t-shirt.
There we go.
Let's do it.
Let's do this new merch. We're going to put this on, what are we going to put this on? Pillowcases.
Pillowcases. Someone bought one of our pillows and they're fucking nice.
We sell pillows?
Yeah.
Red should decorate his whole house with fucking our pillows.
He probably would.
You should have a pillow room.
He probably will. A whole pillow room, yeah.
Beanbags and mattresses and fucking...
Fucking Solway Firth Spaceman pillows.
Yeah. Can we make blankets?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I'm almost positive.
We should put this on a fucking blanket.
We should do blanket, the whole thing. That's not a bad idea.
So when it's in the winter, because wintertime's coming, you're gonna want a nice lap blanket when you sit in a recliner and play Fallout 76. Throw this over you.
They're nice. I bought a Teespring blanket one time. They're actually really nice. So
there we go.
Maybe that's what we'll do. We'll put it on a blanket. What do you guys think? Would you buy it if it was on a blanket?
Send her $5 on Venmo and respond yes or no. That's the only way we want to hear from you this month or this week. Don't call 773-59-WEIRD. Just use Venmo and Venmo her and say yes or no.
Yeah, I can take Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, Facebook Pay. Different. I'm flexible. I can do whatever.
She'll rate your Venmo transfer.
I will. We'll rate your transfer so hard. $5 per paragraph. Anyway, I'm done with that. I'm sick. I'm going to go have some soup for the 10,000th time this weekend. And maybe I'll see you guys in West Virginia this weekend. I don't know. But until then, see you guys back here next Wednesday.